Are you tired and alone? Are you tired of being alone? Are you just tired? Or are you just your life away? Give half of everything that you've ever owned to the person you now are forced to love. Get married. You can do it. Just go to the nearest five and dime. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's single. I'm sure they wouldn't mind living with you. Yes, of all things. And then waking up next to you, looking at you like this. Early in the morning, 5 o'clock. Honey, baby, let's make love. Yes, you should get married. Have children. Little yous running around. Little bitty yous. Small versions of the badness that you were when you were their size. Oh, other remembrance. Shoot, man, I was just going to talk about married folk and non-married folk, but nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to talk about basketball. What up with you, big dog? Big dog, give me the truth. You married? You got a woman? The married folk is your married folk. You married folk. You got a signed contract that says that you're married. Yeah. Why not? You afraid? You afraid of the women folk? You scared of cotton? You afraid that a bunch of you afraid that a bunch of other women folk is going to tell the women folk that you're married to tell you what to do. That's what you're afraid of. That's why people don't want to get married no more. When you get married, you're actually married to the whole country. In any way the wind blows. You got women telling other women what they should tell their man to do. It's like, I'm sorry, I thought I married one woman. I didn't know I married all of them. It's a collective of women that you're married to, but you can only make love to one, but you're married to all of them. Yeah. Oh, so you were, but somebody else is on. You gonna say hello, or you just gonna stare at my haircut? That's what you're here to do. That's how people are. They just stare at my hair. See, they just use me for my haircut. She ate you alive, huh? Yeah, women do that. Yeah. Look, the man is not the dominant species. Okay. If you look at, I know, if you look at the female in any species, pretty much it is the dominant of the two. Spiders, females are larger than males. And when they're done using the males, guess what they do to them? Ow, they eat them. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. However, look, this isn't a female bashing video. Because, I've met a couple good chicks in my life. Okay. I mean, good chicks. They weren't for me, but they were good. They were good. They just wasn't good for me. But they were classified as good women. I just wasn't interested in them as far as marriage was concerned, but they were real cool to date. They're real cool to date. Date them. I just couldn't see myself waking up to them every day. The women who I fell in love with some real crappy women too. I fell in love with some good ones too, but I fell in love with some real pieces of crap of women. Like, you're just a piece of freaking dirt. And they liked being pieces of dirt. They were just trash. And, they fool you because you're nice to them and you're sweet to them. So there's the good woman. But, I'm going to tell you the problem with the good woman. It's just that sometimes the good woman is not necessarily good for you. Sometimes you're not in the mood for a good woman. Sometimes she's good too late. Like, she was a real piece of trash when you met her. Then you got tired of her, just putting up with her. You say, you know what? I'm just going to go find somebody else. And then she became good. But then you got all these memories of just the bad stuff that she did to you. And you're just like, yeah, I'm sure I believe you now, but I just can't get the image of the knife in your hand at 3 a.m. when I came home from work. I just, and you knew I worked the late shift. I just can't get that out of my head. That actually happened to me, but it wasn't because of the late shift. Chick did draw a knife on me. And I never forgot about it. That was like 30 years ago. I never forgot about it. I was just like, I know what you really are. Even though you're nice, I've seen you angry. And it was very, very, very much uncalled for and unjustified, but you did it, and I let you get away with it simply because I knew if I reacted in a very, very violent way that there was going to be some, unnecessary things that happened, and I wasn't interested, so I pretty much talked it out of her. I talked it out of her hand. I was just like, calm down, and let's really think about what you're about to do, because it's about to be all bad on both ends. But she was upset. She was highly upset. But just that one move made me never, ever, 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 ever want to commit to her. No matter what she did after that, I was like, nothing I can do for you. I'm nowhere near interested in marrying you. I'm not waking up to that. And I never did. And she regretted it. She did. She regretted it 20 years down the line. She was still trying to get me. And I was like, no, not going to happen. I'll see you every now and then. But other than that, I'm not doing it, because I remember you drew a knife on me for something that I didn't even do. And you just got mad and started throwing things around the house. Endangered the baby and everything. And it wasn't even my kid. I was just like, oh, you just really lost. You don't care about nobody right now. You just angry. And that type of anger is highly, highly, highly dangerous. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to be the dude who's going to be waking up to this. So I'm good. But nonetheless, before that incident, I did ask to marry her, and she told me no. And I was just like, all right. And then she went and married somebody else. And, still wanted to see me. Now, you married someone. Like, rock with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you got. That's who you got. That, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do about that. So, I've known some good women to marry, but as I'm older now, I cannot see being married. I don't want the noise. Like, listen to that. You hear that? No, listen, go ahead. Oh, you don't hear that? I hear it. It's called silence. And I love it. I love it. I don't want to deal with your grown kids. I don't, because they're not going to respect me. Your kids are not going to respect me. I don't want nobody moving into my house. No. I don't want to have to spend my money on your kid. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not interested. I'm just not. I don't care how pretty you are. It's like, to me, it's like this. It's like this. I'll date you for a while, and then I'm finished. But we can always be friends. Like, I'll always be cool with you. Like, if you need something, and I got it, and, you know, I don't mind that. But, you know, running around shacking up with you, I can't see that. I don't want to wake up to your pissed offness. I'm not. And I'm gonna tell you another thing I don't want, because I am a big fan of monogamy. I'm a big fan. Now, I wasn't always that way, because I was like, you know what? It just doesn't work. The more I want to be with one person, the more be connected to one person, I've always just wanted to have that person. But as soon as I'm connected to them and I start talking about I love you, they're like, yeah, that wasn't what this was all about. You know, you were just chocolate, and tall, public all the time, and holding hands, and you buying me flowers. And yeah, I'm done with that. There's another guy. He's I just met him 5 seconds ago. And I'm going to go over here and let him, you know, bang me out in the bathroom of a Burger King somewhere and, you know, act like he never met me 2 seconds ago. So I'll talk to you later. And I was like, okay. Wow. You know, to having to hold and all that, it just, I know some people who are happily married, and I admire them so much. I do. But I can't see it, you know. Plus, like I said, I'm old. I've done everything already on my own. You know what I mean? Been on my own for the longest. But I don't mind taking one out to dance. Just to watch them move around the dance floor. I won't be doing the dancing. I'll take them out and then they'll go dance. I'll go dance with that guy. Have fun. Get his phone number. I don't care. Go out in the parking lot and do whatever you guys got to do. When you come back, I'm not going to be here, but that's what you're going to do anyway. So I might as well just tell you to do it. You know, go ahead, have fun. Knock yourself out. And there she goes. Well, at least I saw her do it instead of her doing it behind my back. And then I'm going home. And you know what? I'm all right. I still got my money. I still got my freedom. I still got my sanity. God ain't mad at me. I'm good. Nobody's knocking on my door talking about I did something I didn't. Family ain't coming and slashing my tires and trying to run me off the road. Yeah, I'm fine. So I have no patience for the nonsense. Like, I'm so fed up. Like, I've even tried to imagine myself getting married, but just one thing would just send me over the edge. I'd be like, get out. I'm not trying to hear the text messages at 2 o'clock in the morning you got going on talking about it's your mama. I don't believe nothing you say. I'm not trying to see you on Instagram with some dude talking about it's your cousin. I don't believe none of that. I don't believe that you were, you know, out with your girlfriends after work. I don't believe none of that. I think you were out with 3 guys in an alley somewhere after work. That's what I think. You know, I might as well think the worst. I might as well. That's what I think. So, and the reason why I think that is because that stuff really happened to me. So I just have no room in my heart for the nonsense. You know, I'd rather go chase a bimbo or something just to chase her around for about 5 minutes. You know, just somebody who just ain't worth, she ain't worth a ding dong. She ain't worth a doggone dang it, not anything. And just chase her for like 5 minutes and then, bye. Get a little acceleration out of it. I got bad knees. I ain't chasing you too long. But for those of you guys who are looking to get married, I feel bad for you. I say, look, if you're gonna get married, get married to somebody you've known for a long time. If you're gonna get married, like really, really know that person, and then that person can flip on you still. But if you're gonna marry somebody, know them for a long, long time. If you can, I say 5 years or more. Because some people who want to get married in 6 months, you've known that person for 6 months and you want to wake up to them, I say that you're treading on thin ice. I say 6 months is not long enough to know anything about them. And oh, they're wonderful in bed. Yeah, until they don't like you no more. What happens when they don't want to sleep with you no more? Like literally, like they don't want to sleep in the same bed you sleep in. Because that happened to me. I couldn't stand the woman out, I didn't live with her, but I would go and stay at her house because my house was in the hood and there was murders happening. And one of my neighbors killed my other neighbor. So I didn't really want to stay in the hood, but I kept my apartment. So I would stay out, in the countryside with her. But, she was screwing everything that moves. And I knew what was going on. So I said, I don't want to sleep in the same bed you do anymore. Because I know there's other men in this bed in the same day that I was in it. Like I'd come to your house and I left here this morning and another man's business is in the bed and you didn't even clean it up. You just left it there for me to see. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be in, I'm not. I was like, no, if that's what you want to do, fine. But I'm going to go in the other room. And I just stayed in there until I finally left. And she tried to she tried to stop me from leaving after all that. It was crazy because she wanted me to beat her and all this other stuff. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Why do you act like this? Like, what happened to you that, and what I found out is it's the image. Some guy wanted to get married because their religion or self-righteousness. Some guys want to get married. Well, when it comes to marriage, religion is a huge part of it. But when you look at the law of God and you look at the law of religion, and you find out most religions don't follow actually the law of God. You'll find that out very quickly. It's just like this. You're not matching up to what the scriptures actually read. And then the scriptures have differentials for different people in the office of God. But the country has a blanket statement of what marriage should be. One person. Then, of course, they got all these rules and, sub-rules up under it. But nonetheless, you marry one person, you're married to them for life unless it gets, unless you guys get it annulled, like Janet Jackson did when she first got married to the barge, or the Kardashians, or you get it, or you get a divorce, which most people don't realize. And this is how you know the law of the land and the law of God is different. Because what the law of God says about divorce is he says, except for unchastity reasons, which means if your spouse cheats on you, you can get divorced. But the other day, and it's 8:18, you can get divorced today. Yeah, jump out the back, Jack. Don't need to be corduroy. All that. They're like, you know what today is? Today is National Get Divorced Day. Woo! And everybody runs to a court that has nothing to do with God. The court is just a man-made system that is completely godless. God is nowhere near in the court. And they go to these fake courts with these fake magistrates and all this, and has nothing to do with God. Because if it was based on real religion or the real teachings of Christ, of God, of biblical teachings, then the divorce rate would not be 50%. In America alone, 50% of the people who get married get divorced. And then you wouldn't have a huge movement of men who will not get married in their lifetime simply by choice. No matter what the female does, what she looks like, there are men there are more and more every second who refuse to marry a woman simply because of the laws that allow that woman to cheat on him and take everything that he has. Your pension that you worked for the last 30 years, all that's gone. And you can own this woman for 6 months. You can marry her, guess what? Half of your pension belongs to her. The house that you built with your hands, if she lives in that house for that amount of time, guess what? Get divorced. Boom. She owns that house. And now she's going to move her new boyfriend into that house. So there's that. So there's just the laws. See, feminism has taken over the courts. This is why you see a lot of teachers who are doing heinous crimes that are females, and they're not doing any time in jail. But if a male does it, he gets, an extended amount of time. So feminism has taken over the courts. The women who are not feminists, the women who have nothing to do with feminism other than just being a woman, being feminine, which you should be, who desire to have a man in their life for the rest of their life and want to love their husband by God and country, they're hurting because they can't get a man to say yes. They can't get a man to not necessarily buy them a ring, but just to commit to just them. It's becoming unsocially acceptable to be married. And that's really crazy because it's natural and it's spiritually natural to desire a mate for the rest of your life. But socially acceptable is interfering with nature itself. When you have that, you're going to have a lot of offshoots of marriage. You're going to have a lot of marriages that just are not ordained by God himself, but they're ordained by a facsimile of a religious sect, that doesn't predicate their marriage upon what the Lord says. It predicates it on what they say, and they hope the Lord accepts, but that's not how it works. It's not, I'm going to do what I want, and God, you're going to accept it. It's, I'm going to do what God says because that's what God accepts. But that is not marriage today. It's not marriage. Well, that's not the way. Well, marriage today does not follow the laws of God. Marriage today follows the laws of man. And when you follow the laws of man, you're going to find yourself in a very dark place that's very hot for eternity. And no matter what somebody says, don't do this. Do not get divorced. Do not get married under these pretenses. You're in danger if you're indulging in same-sex marriage. Do not do that. You can't really go out and say this because it's not socially acceptable. And what people will do is they will tag you as some type of assailant upon their beliefs, and will, attack you in any kind of way that they can, just because you say what thus saith the Lord. So And then there's the people who get married, but in their marriage, they take their marriage and they twist it to what they think the marriage should be. And God has nothing to do with that either. He has a set of rules that you follow when you're actually married. And so you get people who marry someone. Let's say that man and woman gets married, and the man decides, you know, I only married you for this, that, and the third reason, and now I'm not going to do this. When, you know, he's not going to do his manly, whatever it is that God says you're supposed to do as a man in marriage. And then, of course, the woman is just like, well, I'm not having that. So I'm going to go out and find somebody who will, but I'm not going to divorce you. I'm going to keep that piece of paper on you. And then the man says, fine, I'm not going to divorce you either. So they go out as two married people, but they have what's called an open marriage. Let me tell you what an open marriage is. An open marriage is an open gateway to hell. That's what an open marriage is. It's exactly what it is. You can open yourself up to that all you want to, and you're going to find the devil sitting on your lap. It is a bad thing to do, and it has nothing to do with Christ. So don't do that, because you want the angels of the Lord to be in your marriage. You want to be able to call upon the angel of the Lord when your marriage is being attacked, and it will be attacked. It's being attacked every day. The sanctity of marriage is being attacked every day. The holiness of marriage is a holy act. The marriage of Christ to the bridesmaid, to the Christ to his people. That's a marriage. That's a holy union. From Christ to you is a holy union. It's holy. So marriage is a holy union, but people think marriage is like a lottery or something, or marriage is like a temporary stay at some, cheap hotel. Marriage is a construct to be reconstructed on your command. Marriage is a joke, something you did in Vegas, but you didn't take it seriously because you were too high and too drunk and full of lust. Marriage is a circus. It's a show. It's a way to come up. It's a way to sue the person you were married to after just a few months of being there, a few required months of being there. Marriage is not a form of support. Marriage is a business. Marriage is a business. Marriage is not a form of gratitude between two people, a form of appreciated love between two people. Marriage is some half done TV show full of contestants that are trying to one up each other for ratings. Marriage is scary. Marriage is ruining a belief system that's been around for a very long time because of the people who practice the unmarried married laws. Marriage laws are being rewritten. The divorce lawyer is getting rich. Being married is consuming two people who are living under the pressure of America, who says and rules what these two people should do in their own household. Marriage is all up in your business. Marriage is the neighbor's insinuation. Marriage is a group of women who will never get married telling the married woman how she should be in her marriage. There's a bunch of spinsters and divorcees who had their chance and blew it all to hell. And now you have this young 22-year-old who's dating this stellar 22-year-old male, and they're completely filling her head with the bad of it all. The complaints, sit here and listen to us gripe about men. You know, men do this and men do that. And the picture in her head develops that it's not going to be a Cinderella story. It's not going to be beautiful. There's not going to be any good thing that's going to come from this union. And what am I doing this for? And she runs off with some guy she barely even knows. Because she figures, I'm young, I'm going to have my fling now. Next thing you know, she's got 4 or 5 kids by 4 or 5 different guys. And none of them know their fathers, none of them care. Because this is what social media does. This is what society does. This is what bitter people do to each other. It is what it is. So why get married?